there's been many important visitors come to our county. According to tradition, Andrew Jackson, when he was inaugurated president in 1829, he came through our county by stagecoach and on his way to Washington, and he would stop at Cleveland Springs Hotel, which was a health resort, and he liked to stop here because they had horses, and he would ride some of these trails out in the Cleveland Springs area of our county. And we've had many foreign dignitaries. I believe one of the emperors of Brazil visited us one time, and one of the important men in Russia visited us one time in the past, and a couple of years ago we had the visit of President Reagan when he came to Mammoth Cave, and went through the cave one day. We just recently formed a Chamber of Commerce, and they're working very hard to bring industry into our county. But in the past, we used to have a very important rock asphalt industry here, and this asphalt was quarried out of the ground and taken up to an early mining community called Kyle-Rock on the Nolan River, and they take this asphalt rock and crush it into this paving material, and it would be shipped all over the United States. This company closed about 1950, and since then we've not had any major industry in this county.
I'm Donald Houchin, and I'm the county judge here in Edmonson County, and have been judge for a year and 2 months.
My name is Jerry Pruney. I'm sheriff of Edmonson County.
Alicia Webb, and I'm clerk and assistant to the sheriff, and I communicate for the sheriff here in Edmonson County.
The county seat of Grayson County. Grayson County population, 21,508. Area square miles, 493. Rank 12th. Grayson County is located in the 2nd Congressional District.
We're in Litchfield, Kentucky, which is located in Grayson County. Behind us we have the Grayson County Courthouse. To my left we have a gentleman whose name is Burl Sinclair. He is a historian here in Litchfield. He's the former president of the Historical Society, and we would like to ask him a few questions about the county and the courthouse itself. What can you tell us about this courthouse and the ones that existed before the courthouse here?
Well, this is the 3rd courthouse that we have had. The original was burned in the Civil War, and the second one was a brick building built close by here, not in the center. And it burned in 1896, and we lost all the county records at that time. And so this one then was built, another was built then in the square, and it burned in 1936, late Depression years. So this one that you see now is the 4th one, and now of course we have the Hall of Justice, a new one down on another block. So we've been reckless with matches, I guess.
What can you tell us about the formation of the county?
The county was formed in 1810. This wasn't one of the earliest counties, of course, but then they went mostly on horseback, and from Hartford in Ohio County to Elizabethtown in Hardin County, it was too far to go in one day by horseback. So they needed another county, and they set this one up, Grayson County, in 1810, and named it after one of the aides of George Washington, Colonel William Grayson. And so we originally, when it was set up, included land all the way to the Green River near Brownsville. But later, Edmonson County was set up, and they took a chunk off of Grayson, you see, to make part of Edmonson. So then we've held what we have now.
Okay. We were talking earlier about some of the earlier presidents that had been through the area. Can you tell us about that?
Well, we've had some connections to 3 of our presidents of the United States. We can't claim this as birthplace of any of the 3, but George Washington in the late 1780s, swapped his horse Magnolia for 5,000 acres of Kentucky land. He had heard the report that there was iron ore in the area, and there is, but it's not of a high enough percentage to be commercially usable. And so he swapped the horse and got 5,000 acres of Kentucky land. This has been adequately authenticated by competent attorneys and so on, and is accepted by the Washington people, the committee and such over at Mount Vernon as being true. They knew he owned land here but didn't know where, but it's been authenticated as being in the northwestern part of Grayson County on the Little Rough River. So then Lincoln came here to visit, but long before he was president. He had an uncle who lived within sight of where we are now. That is, of course, an old house, and it's been long gone. But Mordecai Lincoln, that was the president's uncle, lived here for quite some time. And Abe came from Illinois, no doubt on horseback, and visited his uncle while he was here in the 1840s. And one of the farms, one of the farms I have owned near the Rough River State Park was settled by a Simeon Buchanan, who was related to the President James Buchanan, the only bachelor president we've ever had. So we've had some connections, and we've had one of the judges of our first Supreme Court of Kentucky settled here after his career in Frankfort was over. And so we can dig up a little bit of history and connections to important people.
How about some of those, we'll just call them characters from the past?
Well, we've had all sorts of characters. Grayson Countyans have always been pretty great in telling stories and yarns and such, but we had an outlaw family that I guess the word for it would be to say they holed up in Grayson County just prior to 1850. They'd been on the run over a murder in another state and settled in the Pine Knob community, which is about 10 or 12 miles west of here. And there was a book written about their activities, and the book relates that sometimes they would offer a stranger overnight lodging, but he would disappear. They'd take what he had, including the horse, and murder him, and that'd be the last ever known of him. So we've had all sorts of activities here. We had a great, a widely known health spa in the late 1800s, Grayson Springs. It had a series of quite a number of mineral springs and hot springs, some of them, and so great numbers of people, especially from the south, came here to bathe in the mineral waters and to drink them and, to rest. Hotel facilities, I think they say about 1,500 rooms at one time. But of course, like most of the health spas of that type, it's been long gone.
Okay. For those who aren't familiar with Grayson County and the area, something else we're trying to do is promote tourism for each county or the counties that are close to something that they can stop through and not just see the courthouse, but perhaps have a nice long weekend. What can you tell us about tourism in the area?
We think we're pretty well situated to be attractive to tourists. We have the Rough River State Park that I mentioned earlier on the northwest side of the county, on a lake that where the Army engineers had built the Rough River Dam in the late 1950s up to 1960. So great numbers of people come there. So we have that lake of 5,000 acres on the north side of Grayson County, and then on the south and southeast we have the Nolin Lake, which is very attractive to great numbers of people, and they come to that in great numbers. We're going to have a little additional interest this year. An outdoor drama is going to be put on at Pine Knob, which incidentally is about the Doc Brown story that I mentioned, The Outlaws. Mm-hmm. And this will be the first year for it, but that'll be going beginning in June, I think, on Saturday nights, and we'll run through the summer. So we think we have a number of interesting things for people to see and do while they're here. We do have a number of small industries here, and we're fortunate. Some of our county leaders several years ago were aware of the fact that we needed more employment here. and they worked to bring in industries. We have several small plants here, and this is a great help. But we have a lot of people who have had to seek employment outside the county. Many of them over the years have gone into Louisville, Fort Knox, and to various points for employment. And as you know, a lot of those jobs now have kind of slacked off, and we're needing. What we really need is perhaps a larger plant of some sort to give even greater numbers of employment. Our agriculture here is, well, I guess to be kind, is in the doldrums as it is everywhere else. And our people are, they're good workers, and it should be attractive to industry to come in, or even service industries to establish here and let our people work. The tourist trade helps a lot, but we need more employment.
Okay, thank you very much.
Hallsville, the county seat of Hancock County. Hancock County population, 8,061. Area square miles, 189. Rank, 110th. Hancock County is located in the 2nd Congressional District.
Hancock County was formed in 1829. It was formed from portions of Breckinridge, Davis, and Ojai counties. The larger portion of it came out of Breckinridge County. As you may know, in the olden days, they wanted a county seat within a 1 day's ride. Everybody in the county must be within 1 day's horseback ride of the county seat. And that's the reason for all the division of the smaller counties. In 1832 to 34, and even up to about 1850, Hallsville was a coal mining area. The city of Hallsville sits on the hills here, and it is all these hills are undermined with coal mines. There was the Reverdy, the American Cannel Coal. Out in the county there was the Breckinridge Cannel Coal. There's the Falcon mines, the Hawes mines, and many of the smaller mines. Hallsville was named for the man who gave the land for the county seat. His name was Richard Hawes. He lived in Davis County, but he owned this land where the town is sitting. And he gave this land to, in a document that went to the state in 1827, he stated that he would give 75 acres of land from the mouth of Lead Creek upwards and to Farmer Square for the sole purpose of a county seat should a new county be formed. This was 2 years before the county was formed. At that time, the groundwork was laid for the new county, and it was, from then on, it became known as Hallsville in this area. It was built in 1867. It's the one that is behind me. It was finished in 1870. It is the second courthouse to be built here. On the first floor, we have the circuit court. The second floor is the courtroom. And the third floor is the Hancock County Archives that was formed in 1982. In this room, we have all of the old documents and the county books from 1829. We are the first county archives to be established in the state of Kentucky. The courthouse, in many of the old drawings, it showed the hitching post and things in this area where the parking lot is now of the new county annex building, and it was built in 1977-78, and it is on the exact location of Hancock County's first courthouse. It was built in 1830 to 32, and it was torn down in 1868 when the new courthouse was to where that they could